John, I know on our last segment, we started talking about EVs and it sort of transitioned into used car operations. And then it just started making me think of like me as a consumer. I feel like when I go to dealers, I could go to one dealer, but I feel like I'm dealing with two completely different companies between sales and service. It's almost like there's this huge divide and disconnect between the two. Is that like a norm in the industry? Is that something that dealers are working to improve upon? What's going on with that?
Sadly, it is the norm.
Really?
Yeah, sadly, it is the norm. You know, the dealers that I've worked with over the years, the best operators have some kind of cohesion between their sales and service department, but most of them, sadly, they don't. It's a very adversarial relationship.
Yeah.
You know, the service department specifically, their biggest customer is the sales department.
Okay.
Because
that
of
makes sense.
reconditioning costs, because of, you know, all the things.
Yeah.
And so the sales department oftentimes has some adversarial feelings about that, right? Because they feel like service is gouging them in some way or trying to take advantage of them in some way.
Okay.
And trying to make large sums of money from the sales department, right?
Okay.
The service department, on the other side, feels like the sales department is trying to limit their ability to make the inventory the way that it should be, setting false expectations for customers as it pertains to service, sending customers back to service for them to be their cleanup for the sales department, right? And so you end up with these rubs, this sand in the gears, right? So yes, to answer your question, it is like two different businesses in a lot of cases.
I mean, I'm not near as educated in this space as you are, but outside looking in, you would think that service department could be the number one resource for dealers to be able to purchase used vehicles.
100%.
I mean, everyone coming in the service department, in theory, is like, that's a used vehicle.
Yeah.
And once again, thinking outside the box, but they're going to have the VIN number and all the vehicle specifics before the client even arrives with their vehicle.
Yeah.
Is there nothing dealers are doing to say like, hey, John, I know you came in because we're working on this today. While you're here, I wanted you to know, like, hey, here's what your vehicle's value is. Like, we could give this to you today. We have Sally over there and John over there in the sales department. There's a 2-year Model 1 newer. We could cover the difference. Like, is that happening? And if not, like, why?
Great question. I know that we spent a little time talking about that offline, but yes, the best operators have some kind of a process.
Okay.
To where the service department is trying to purchase inventory, or at least team them up to someone from the sales department to at least make them an offer on their car.
For sure.
Right? We know and realize, specifically in the dealership world, that the absolute greatest source for inventory today, used car inventory, is buying from the public. It just is. Hands down, the data's not even close.
Is the auction space just not as viable of an option anymore?
It's still viable, but the auction space, you know, more and more dealers have moved to the online model in the auction space.
Yeah.
There is an awful lot of disparity between what the dealer thinks that they're buying and what they actually end up with.
Okay.
And then you're working through arbitration. You know, I was just in a dealership yesterday, and I'm sitting there talking to the owner of the dealership, and then all of a sudden they have to interrupt the meeting because there's an arbitration phone call coming through from an auction.
Interesting.
We see this all the time. And as good as the technology has gotten, and you know, we've talked about it when it comes to auto lending, dealers get comfortable, right? We all do it.
For sure.
Creatures of comfort.
Yep.
Right.
Absolutely.
So dealer gets comfortable, and they go to the same auction week in and week out to buy and bid on inventory. It strains the relationship when there is any kind of arbitration or mediation that has to happen because there's a vehicle issue.
Yeah.
And because they're comfortable following that online process where they're bidding on vehicles, they're not investing the time and effort and resources in trying to develop a process to buy directly from the consumer.
Okay.
And so, to answer your question earlier, it is vitally important that the top operators at this stage are investing something in how do we get more inventory from the public.
Yeah.
The service department is a great segue to do that.
Okay.
Yeah, great segue to do that. And building some sort of an incentive plan for those service advisors is an important piece of it too.
Yeah.
Because we oftentimes find, and I'm sure you've heard this said, that your pay plan is your job description, right? And so
Yeah.
if you're not paid to do it, then it must not be important,
Correct.
right? And so the dealerships that we see that are the most effective in this space, they have a compensation plan that has been put together for their service advisors where they're able to do a tee-up to the sales department for that customer's vehicle for a variety of things, not just to purchase the vehicle, because if the customer's not open to selling their vehicle, but they're there for paying for service,
Yeah.
well, why not at least look at adding a vehicle service contract or something while you're here, so that way the next time you're here, you don't have to pay this $1,500 out of pocket or $2,000 out of pocket.
Because those don't have to be added just at the time that they purchase the vehicle, correct?
No. I
Okay.
mean, many times there is a process to where the vehicle has to be inspected in order to be able to sell them a vehicle service contract, but the car's already in the service department,
That makes sense.
right? And so most times in most situations, they can go ahead and sell them a vehicle service contract. But that conversation is never going to take place if it's not introduced out there in the service department.
Interesting. I mean, it makes sense. Their clients are there. And I think, too, when I look at it, I feel like that, once again, like we've talked about in earlier segments, like what are we doing to take any interaction and change it from transactional to relationship based?
Man, you said a mouthful. Yeah. You said a mouthful.
And if I have a client coming in and their expectation is like, just, I had a check engine light, I need to find out what's going on. And I turn that into like, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Client, like while you're here, we really want your vehicle. We love this vehicle. We think it'd be a great addition to our lot. Here's our offer for you. Even if they say no, the fact that like from the client expectation, once again, they thought they were having their check engine light looked at.
Yep.
And now they're being flattered by someone giving them an offer to buy their vehicle.
Yeah.
You're just taking it up to a different level of exceeding the expectation, planting that seed with that client, and turning it into more of a relationship type of interaction instead of just an order taker spitting something out.
I could not agree more. In doing secret shops, so I'm just going to use that as an example,
Yeah.
right? So I've secret shopped several dealers.
Yeah.
In doing secret shops for the service department, it is deflating
Really?
how transactional it really is. You call in for an oil change, or you call in for a basic service. There's no excitement, there's no relationship building, there's nothing consultative about it. It's very, very transactional and very dull. To your point, and boy did you say a mouthful, right? The service department specifically is such a source of revenue for the top operators today.
Okay.
Margins on car sales have decreased significantly. And so how do dealers make up a lot of that lost revenue by those shrunken margins, right? That means that they have to get very, very serious about the other departments in their dealership. They have to be very, very determined to improve their finance department. They have to be very intentional about improving their parts and service department, specifically fixed operations.
Yeah.
And they have to be very, very intentional on how they acquire inventory to improve that overall picture, right?
Yeah.
So the service department is such an important piece of this, but it oftentimes gets neglected and overlooked. Yeah, I'll give you an example. So Automax has a relationship with a large nationwide provider who then has a collaboration with one of the largest providers for chemicals and fluids in the service department.
Okay.
This provider guarantees any dealership in the country that they will save them between 10 and 25% on their chemical spend, on their fluid spend in their service department. Period. Guarantee
Just a
it.
flat out guarantee.
Guarantee it.
We know we can hit this mark.
They guarantee it, that they will save them between 10 and 25%. There's no long-term contract. It's 30 days at a time, because they're confident by saving them that money that they're going to retain their dealerships, right?
Yep.
With that being said, if the service department, specifically the fixed operations in a dealership, is such a resource for improving the overall profitability of the dealership,
Yeah.
why would a dealer not want to look at that?
I mean, you would think for some dealers, 10 to 25%, that'd be a massive savings.
Significant, right?
Yeah.
But you mentioned it in another segment where you talked about comfort, right? And that's been kind of a common theme we've talked about, right? That dealers get comfortable with what they're doing today.
Yep.
They're comfortable with who provides their chemicals, their fluids, whatever in the service department.
For sure.
They're comfortable with what lenders they use. They're comfortable with their agency relationship. They're just comfortable.
Yeah.
Right?
Blockbuster was really comfortable too.
That's a good point.
You
That's
know?
a good point.
Yeah, Redbox approached them and they said, "No, it's a terrible idea. We're pretty comfortable having these stores." And yeah, we saw where that ended up.
Yeah. Well, and it's true, and especially in the automotive space, as this is continuing to change and evolve, there are so many opportunities for improvement. But dealers, and it's not their fault necessarily, right? But because they work in their business every day and they're so tunnel visioned, they can't see beyond what they look at on the day-to-day, right? They just can't.
For sure.
And so that's why it's such an important piece, bringing in a consultant like Automax, right? That they're going to give them a different perspective.
For sure. Because you can work on the business, not in the business.
100%.
Completely different lens that you're
100%.
looking through.
Yep. And while we're talking about this too, I want to mention this too. We're talking about service, and there's another provider that Automax has partnered with and is working with, that they have a phenomenal service offering, but it's really a total picture, help for the sales department, help for the consumer, help for the service department. And this product, it is a GPS product.
Okay.
Right. And so it's probably preloaded onto the vehicle because it gives the dealership inventory management for free. So they're able to manage and know where all their inventory is at any given time.
Okay.
They can set up geo fences and stuff around their location, so they're alerted if it breaks that fence. Once the consumer makes the purchase of the vehicle, it's already preloaded onto the car, so they have a hard add. It's an addendum to the vehicle because it's already been added on. It's non-cancelable, and so it's already on the vehicle. A customer gets an app, the whole thing. But this does everything. It does fuel level, it does battery level, it does all of the check engine light, error code stuff through the OBD2. But the great add for this, besides that finance can extend out the service for a longer period of time for a markup to the customer, but beyond that, the service department will get notified every time that there is a check engine light or an error code or anything that the vehicle throws. So then the service department has the ability to strengthen that advisor relationship with the consumer, right? Call them up and say, "Hey, I noticed that you have an error code in your vehicle. You may not be aware of it.
Yeah.
I've got some time open on Thursday. Can you bring your car by so we can take a look at it?"
Absolutely. You'd think they could even build automation into that. There's got to be some trigger where it could hit their whatever CRM tool that they're using, or just even text the client real quick, "John, just got an indication your check engine light came on. Are you okay?" Something.
So it's funny that you mentioned that. So this provider also has campaigns built in for free for the dealer.
Oh.
So every app that is tied to one of those GPSs,
Right.
It can send out any kind of a mass alert or sale
That's
or
brilliant.
whatever to all of those clients, and that's a free value add.
Yeah.
And so when we think about innovating and how do we improve the overall dealership picture, this
Right.
is just a couple of those things that Automax brings to the store, right?
Yeah.
That, hey, based on what we've seen, there's an opportunity here for both the sales department, the finance department, and then even the service department as well.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like a no-brainer to have a product like that. Like, why would you not?
It's inexpensive. It's not high cost. It's not high cost for the dealer. It's not high cost for the consumer. It's really low cost, but it's a really significant value add. The dealer as well, from an inventory management standpoint, they'll get notifications as often as they like for any vehicles that are on the lot that have a low battery, any vehicles that are on the lot that have low fuel, anything, right? And they can just set it and forget it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It goes back to the same thing we've talked about in past segments of what is the client expecting out of any type of interaction they have. And then if they're being alerted before they even notice that there's a problem and the dealer already has a solution for them, there's probably a lot of clients like me, my time's really valuable.
Yeah.
And if I can avoid having to pay attention to that, make a call, figure out when I can get it in, when I can't get it in, set up and coordinate all that, if that can just be handled because there's already something on my vehicle that sends an alert, they get a hold of me, here's an option, I can reply yes, and I'm done, and I get on with my life.
Yep. And
that's huge.
And they even have a concierge service for free that they will actually call and set the appointments for the service department. So it's really a
That's
set
amazing.
it and forget it.
And you can help dealerships.
Oh yeah.
Like get that set up.
Yeah. And you know this is a phenomenal nationwide provider that, you know, they've been featured at NADA, talked about on Car Dealership Guy, which is a huge news outlet for the dealership space. It's a phenomenal offering. On top of the fact the customer also gets live tracking on their vehicle, they can set up their own geofence, you know, speed alerts, hard brake alerts, all the things, especially if they're buying like a vehicle for their child or something, right? It's really just it's a phenomenal solution. It really is.
Talking about that, like getting the text alerts and everything, it made me think too about like online servicing, like online service scheduling and everything within dealerships.
Yep.
What does that look like? Is that something that dealerships have been implementing too?
The top operators do.
Okay.
There is so much lost revenue on that functionality in the dealership space today. There are several dealers that we encounter that they are really missing the boat when it comes to online scheduling and making things easy for the consumer.
Yeah.
You kind of mentioned it earlier. You're like, as a consumer, if they're just going to handle all that for me and I just have to hit yes, most dealers are just not there. They're just not there, and they're not investing the time and the resources to set those processes up, but they should be.
Because once again, they're working in the business, not on it.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. And again, I have to reiterate this. I've got so many dealer relationships and people that I know, and I would never want dealers to think that this is a finger point, because it's not.
Yeah.
This is it's just a different lens, like you mentioned earlier, right? This is not a fault necessarily of the dealer, right? They're trying to tread water. On a daily basis, they have customers that are calling them with issues on a vehicle. They have stuff going on in service. They have lenders that are trying to take up their time. They have people like me that are trying to take up their time, right?
Yep.
They just don't have that lens and have access to it, and they're just so tunnel visioned on treading water.
Yeah.
Right? That's why this relationship with Automax or whatever agency relationship they have that they find value in is so important, and why they should expect this type of service from that relationship. show me what I'm missing. Bring me innovative solutions to help me improve that customer experience.
Yeah.
What's working in the market and what's not. Even more reason why I think it's so vital that we operate based on this dealer council.
Yeah.
Because we've got these top forward-thinking operators that they're always looking for the next thing, and how do we improve the customer experience, and how do we find ways to reach out to the consumer more effectively. We need that feedback.
For sure.
We need that guidance, because the things that we bring to our dealer clients, they're going to, in many cases, implement to improve their business.
Absolutely.
It's so important.
It makes me think of before insurance, my last role in banking, I was a commercial banker and a commercial lender.
Yeah.
And I would interact with all kinds of different business owners in that role. And one common topic we would always get on would be, how are you finding your new clients? Like, what are you doing to gain relationships? And I can't tell you how many times that the model would just like show up to a business. Hey, here's my business card. Here's what I do. Shake hands. Please send me stuff.
Yeah.
And I would always sit back, and a few of the business owners, I had a good enough relationship that I could ask them, but I'd say what are you doing to add value for them? Like, you've been out of their office now for 2 minutes. Is your business card in the trash can?
Probably.
Like, what did you do to make yourself separated from everyone else who walks in the door and asks for their business?
Yeah.
And that's what I think is really cool about Automax. Like, the more I hear about you and what you're doing is you're not just coming in and saying, hey, here's a product from ABC company. You should sell it. It's cool. You'll make money. I make money.
Yeah.
Like, you're approaching this from, here's your business. I'm an advisor. I'm looking from the outside in. Here are some different ways that we can help, either through products, through, you even said like the recruiting, through training, through any of the ideas that you talked about, the dealer council, all of these items. There's nothing transactional about it. It's not just handing a business card and asking them to send you business. Like, there's an entire platform and relationship behind this.
Yeah. And it's so important to note too that even though Automax is in its infancy, and we're just adding our first clients and just getting them going, I can't work with every dealership.
Yeah.
Because there's just so many hours in the day, right? There are some dealers that, through that process of having conversation with them and looking at their operations and evaluating what they're doing, that we just realize that today it may not be a good fit.
Okay.
It may not be something that every dealer is going to benefit from this relationship. I will tell you though that the ones that want to level up, right? The ones that are looking for process improvement, maybe it's in service, maybe it's in sales, maybe it's in finance, maybe it's a combination of all the above. Maybe they realize that they need new lender relationships. They don't know where to start. They realize they've not invested anything in training their people. They don't know where to start. They realize that their recruiting today is just kind of like, hey, I asked a buddy that knows somebody, right? And they sent them in here, and I didn't think they were going to steal, so I hired them.
Sounds like a winner.
but it's reality, and I see it all the time. There are some dealers that they're not looking for process improvement. They're not looking to level up. They're not looking to improve their operations. As weird as that may sound, but you just mentioned it, right? Doing the commercial lending and talking to business owners. There are some that it's like, yeah, I just hand them a business card and say, send me some stuff, and it's very transactional, and either they do or they don't, and I go down the road, right?
Yeah.
There are some dealers that operate that way. They're like, look, I'm happy buying this handful of cars that I buy a week. Here's what my recon process looks like. I make sure that the price is aggressive in the marketplace. Customer buys it. They go down the road, and everybody's okay. Great.
Yep.
It's very transactional, but great.
Yep.
Those are probably not the dealers that are ideal clients for Automax.
Yeah.
because they're not looking to level up. They're not looking to improve things. They're just they're okay with the status quo.
Yeah. They're not really seeking advice.
No, and and that's okay, right?
For sure.
That's okay. But the dealers that are really looking for improvement, beyond them evaluating what they're doing today, beyond them asking for a different lens and for someone to look through what they're doing today and show me where the gaps are,
Yeah.
if they're invested in that, then they'll be invested in the relationship with Automax.